Alright. Let's turn that down. Hopefully all the information is correct now. Now people know I'm not playing Layers of Fear, I'm streaming artwork. Hi! How does the information look? I don't know if you have to reload your page, but let me know if I need to update the information still, because sometimes it just doesn't go through. It's all updated? Okay, so it's WoW Tavern Inn Art Stream Part 1. We're making some magic, and it is category art. Okay. Just to recap real quick, we are going to be eventually building this entire thing in 3D, complete with textures and everything, and then if I can find a rendering program, maybe we'll be able to actually add in like the moving fire effects and dynamic lighting and all of that good stuff. But yeah, so we kind of in the Layers of Fear finale art stream that I just did 2 seconds ago, dear lord, we ran around the building. We were kind of just taking it in, understanding the space, how one space relates to the other. So if we run over here real quick, it seems that the majority of the front of the building is kind of one big square or long rectangle with another addition off the back that is also a 2-story portion of the building. In the front of the building, we'll have to figure it out when we go upstairs. I think there is a second floor on both sides. Yes, it's just the one side has more of a vaulted ceiling. So, let's go ahead and minimize this again. How's, yeah, so it's gonna be a multi-part stream. I think I'm gonna try to keep doing our streams on Sundays. I also made a Discord. I finally made one. I still need to put in all the information, like my welcome, get a bot, update all the just stream info between rules and assigning roles and everything, but I do have all my categories on the left. So I believe the link down below works. So you can click on it. You can also do, let's see here, I fixed my MooBot the other day. Let's see if it pops up. Yeah, Beastie Buds. That's what my Discord's called. So feel free to join. Not a lot there at the moment. Like I said, I'll be assigning roles, different categories, subscribers, followers, all the Beastie Buds. Fun channels to put stuff in, and then I'll be able to share news, events, stream notifications, all that good stuff. Anyways, so yeah, I think I'm gonna try to have more of a schedule, and we're gonna do this multi-part stream because we can't, well, I mean, we could build this in a day, but that would be a lot. And I've got a haircut at 4:30, so we'll do what we can. Anyways, let me know how the level of music, the volume of the music is compared to my voice, and if it needs to go up and down or anything. Anyways, alright, let's start doodling, right? Okay, so what I'll be using today is this lovely thing. This is my Wacom Intuos Pro Medium tablet with my pen, but you really don't need this. You can also use AutoCAD to do floor plan drafting. This was really just for us to sketch and kind of get a loose idea down. In Photoshop, just to bring it in as a picture into what we'll be using as our 3D program, just as a reference. Yes, Intuos, yeah! At least I think that's how I'm pronouncing it right. The problem is, I'm bad with assigning these buttons to things. I haven't used it enough to really get comfortable with it, so I kind of do the whole hand on a keyboard, hand on here. But anyways, so we were having fun earlier, doing a little sketch. Let me see how that looks. I might shift this way, so you guys can see it more. Anyways. But yeah, this was me just making sure earlier that my, we're on this layer, that my pen tool was working. look at that. We can add our little window mullions in. Add all of our wood detail. Anyways, we're not going to be drawing it today. Maybe that'll be another stream. But I was just having some fun. Today we're going to do something kind of like that. Little flash into the future. But let's go ahead and get started with kind of figuring this building out before we hop into 3D modeling. Hehe, sneak peek. I had to practice, you know? I was nervous about today. But anyways, so, okay, like I said, this building is kind of a square up front. So we'll do something kind of maybe like this to start with. It's gonna be loose, you know, so whatever. I shouldn't even be erasing. But yeah, oh yeah, how was your stream this morning? I was sleeping and then showering and getting ready for this, so unfortunately I could not attend, but I saw that when I was getting ready for this that I was exiting host mode and that you were streaming. What were you up to this morning? Alright, so again, it kind of comes in a little bit. It's gonna pop out. Maybe do something like that. We know that we have our barrels in the corner here by running around, and that this kind of comes in probably the same. Does it look like it's the same depth as the width? Actually, it's much deeper than it is wide, so we're probably going to have to squish this a little bit based on our current scale of things. So let's go ahead. Actually, fun trick, Photoshop, if you use your selection tool, and let's say we'll go about right here, and if you hold down Control, you can grab a section and move it. Hee. So we'll make it a little skinnier that way, and then we'll grab this and do the same thing. Just make the whole room a little tighter. I think our building is a little bit longer than it is wide. It was okay, just did a bit of Overwatch. Need to do some work though. Literally have done nothing for a week because I think I'm scared to start my project, which is not good. Hey, being scared is totally normal. I mean, that was me today. I mean, and this isn't even for a grade or for school or anything. It was silly for me to get scared, but oh well. Like we talked about this earlier, you know, just creative work. It's that whole fear of that blank page and having to take it on, you know? But, well, I hope you get some creative inspiration, potentially, to help you out with starting your work today. And hopefully Overwatch kind of gave you that mental break that you needed before hopping on anything. Okay, so usually in architecture drawings, you can note windows by kind of having little dashes here and drawing additional lines like such. So that's kind of a window. So if we're running around the outside, we've got a gap between this column in the doorway, and then we've got another gap between that and the window. And it's much tighter to this over here. All right, so let's go ahead and run on in. So this wall right here is this wall that we have going across here. And it doesn't quite extend to the window, which is what we have. It does feel a little tight though, so what are we gonna do? Oh, wrong button. We're gonna just extend this again. I think we made it a little bit tight. And then we're just gonna connect. We're gonna end up erasing this back wall, I believe, anyways. Whoop. Also, if you want to know, so drawing in Photoshop, you can have loose lines like this, you know, where it moves quickly and it moves with you. However, if you want to draw a straight line, oh dang it, I need to increase my, oh, did I break it? Come on. Alright, yeah, I did too many undos. Let's redo that brush tool. There we go. But if you ever want to do a straight line, you can either click and then hold down Shift, and in whatever direction you started, it'll keep you, no matter where you go, on that straight line. Let's undo. Let's undo that. Same with, again, up and down. It'll keep you on that straight line. Now let's say you want to go on a diagonal. My brush is a little weird right now because it's sensitive to pressure, so if I push down more, the darker it goes right now. But if you click in one spot and literally let go of your mouse, and then hold down Shift and click in another spot, it'll make a straight line. If you want to undo that, because you have to put a dot to begin with, and then click over here, see how my pressure to start with was not as great as my ending pressure, so my brush didn't really show up when I did that. Oh, it's having to think today, is it now? Alright. So if you were... Oh, come on. I'm just gonna delete these instead of trying to undo them. Yeah, so it's a little easier. Like, I'll switch my brush real quick. So just without a pressure sensitive thing, if you literally click here and make a single dot, and then say you want a straight line to here, hold down Shift and then tap again. So even though, see? And if you continue to hold down Shift and just keep clicking, it'll connect. Wah! It's not acting up as it should right now, but you were seeing it there. Pretty much, if you click and you hold down Shift, it'll constantly create straight lines to wherever you're going. So neat little trick and tip. But just want to be good. Oh, tell me about it. Ugh. I see so many people at work, or just even students still, and I've been out of school, that are just amazing, that look like they've been in the industry for 20 years already. Ugh. I think I get worried about that this time I won't be able to design anymore. What? What if this is the project where my brain is just like, you're no longer creative? I think that'll never happen. I don't think you ever have to worry about that. You'll definitely get into a slump at some time, and I've been there sometime in your life, multiple times actually. But you are to your core who you are, and you will always have that gift. Sometimes you'll get definitely drained, but this is not going to be the project that suddenly you've used up all of your creative juices. That's not a thing. So I know you're gonna do great. And it's not irrational to think of. And yeah, you have to kick yourself into just starting a small thing, but it's very normal to feel like that. So don't try to get yourself too down. It's rough, but something will click sometime. Or sometimes you just have those projects where even at the end you're not that happy with it, but not everything's gonna be 100% how you want it to be, in your life, and you have to kind of be okay with that, which sucks. Because there's a lot of things that I did that I just had to chalk it up as a loss, but was okay with it. Anyways, alright, so we came inside and we noticed that the window was there. So this front room has enough width to hold 2 tables before hitting the railing. Over here, let's see, we do have the barrels sitting back here, which those aren't really to scale, but the window does start behind this wall, so it's about right here. Maybe goes, let's see, well, if it's 1/4 behind the wall, 2, 3, 4, so if it sticks behind the wall that much, maybe 2, 3, 4, maybe it ends about right here. Does that look a little long, or does that look pretty good? we'll just run with it. Like I said, this is going to be super loose. This is just something to start to base something off of. But if we have our window there, we're going to put our railing about right here across the room. And then I think that looks pretty good. I mean, if you start to pop back here and look this way, this is about the same exact width as this. It's a little hard to tell, but we'll roll with it. I think also I'm excited to do the new project we were briefed on. I found the most beautiful typeface and so excited to work with it. Oh, I love beautiful font. And when it's a good font, I mean, it just helps. You're excited about it, so you're fueled with that kind of creative passion to do something great with it. But yeah, sometimes you have those projects, you're like, why the heck am I doing this? Like, you're just not jazzed about it at all, and it's more of a chore than it is something fun and creative to do. Okay, so getting through this. So we have our railing, but we have a staircase that comes down, right? So we're looking at the staircase here. Burp, burp. Oh, gotta face it. I'm not good at driving this when it's zoomed in that far. Okay, so it looks like it intersects with this wall a little bit, so it's just a smidge wider. So we'll say maybe the staircase starts about right here. Come on. Where's my... Oh, ho, ho. What happened? Did I hit a button? My color went dark and my opacity went to 10%. I think we can keep it at that gray, but my opacity went down. That was strange. Okay, so stairs start about right here, and they're wide enough to not go to the window, but go about here, something like that. I don't know how many steps we've got. So if this is our landing, we've got 1, 2 steps. So we'll do something like that, right? Because we're hopping down 1, 2, and then the floor. So actually, yeah, 1, 2, and then the floor. Perfect. So I guess we can kind of sketch in these 2 tables here on the side. So let's run on over here. Alright, so on this back wall we have this dresser. What the heck? When I click out of it and I hop back in, my opacity goes down. Strange things be happening here today. Anyways, here, there's our bookshelf. And then in this space, they're favoring the right side of this window. So, looks something kind of like, here's one table. And then it's butt up right next to a second table, right? We've got a chair, 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 and chair. Perfect. And there's an area rug underneath it. So there's our railing. So anything else happening over here? Yes, we do have another one of these bookcases along this wall, and it favors this side of it, kind of in line with this. And then we've got a piece of furniture favoring the right side of the window right there. Perfect. Alright, so moving into here, we've got our fireplace. So between here to here, it almost looks 1.5 of these. So that fireplace is pretty dang wide. Well, if you look at it, here we go. This is what I was talking about earlier with using these tables as a good sense of scale. So we can fit 2 more tables here. So it's pretty much the same width as back here, is up here. So what we're honestly gonna do is, even though it's gonna be on a different layer, we're going to just select these with the selection tool. We're going to copy it and paste it. And then just to make it easier to grab, because it's little brush strokes, you can hit Command T, and I'm gonna bring it over here. So if anything, we're probably gonna have to elongate this. So we're kind of starting from the front and working our way back, and that's how we're gonna figure this building out to build in 3D. So it's kind of nestled in here about right there, right? So we've copied that. So now you can see this is a new layer, just like this is another layer. We'll go back down to this one to draw on it, and keep going. So our fireplace kind of sticks out here a little bit. Something like this. Can anybody name where this song is from? What game? And then if you can name the game, can you name the area? This is a fire. And obviously it extends past the wall. So it does something kind of like this. So there's going to be a bump out on the exterior side of the building. So we'll do something kind of like this for the time being. Fire. Okay, so then we have another railing over here. And it hits that, so we're gonna do something like this, just for right now. I know it breaks in certain spots, but this is coming along. I'm gonna have another sip of my coffee. Man, coffee gets cold so dang fast. Not fair. Alright, so before we move on to the other space, let's kind of figure out what some of these other things are in this little area. So first off, it looks like these stairs are perfectly aligned. Yep. So again, instead of having to draw them, if we wanted to, we can select. Oh, I love this song. Whoops. Copy paste. I do Control C, Control V for copy paste. And then if you do Command T again, it's called the transform tool. So you can stretch it, you can scale it, you can do whatever with it. But I'm going to use flip vertical just to flip it vertically. And then scooch this up here. And it should be directly in line, yeah, with that one. So there's that staircase. So over on this side, we're able to fit one of these tables, which let's go ahead and grab one of these tables again. Just the table portion though, because it doesn't have chairs on all sides. Whoops, I'm not on the right layer. Can anybody guess this song? I'll give you a clue. It's another Blizzard game, and it begins with a D. I'm going to clean this one up. So instead of using the eraser tool, I'm going to use the selection tool and delete just to get some of those lines off of there. That looks about right, right? Sure. Alright, let's go back down to this layer. Keep doodling. So this time this has two chairs facing this way. I do feel like the table needs to be a little skinnier and longer, which probably means these have to be a little skinnier. Luke's playing games behind me if that's what you're hearing in the background. Alright, so let's just squish this a little bit. I know. Oh, whoa! No new Photoshop. weird. Okay, so between old, like literally 2018 versus 2020, they've changed things where if you want to scale proportionately, you have to hold down shift. But in the new one, they've completely reversed that. So if you don't hold down shift, it scales proportionally. But if you do hold down shift, you're able to squish it or skew it. Same with undo. In the original, like older versions, not even that much older, if you wanted to undo multiple times, you had to do Control-Shift-Z. But now you do Control-Z, because before it would just flip back and forth. Yeah, the change! Why did they do it? Everybody was so used to doing it the one way that they flipped it, so when you go to like, why isn't it undoing? You're doing it as you're supposed to, but they've changed it on you. I don't know why. I don't know why. Anyways, lame. By the way, the other song was from Diablo. Diablo 3, to be exact. Alright, so we kind of cheated on this table just to get it how we wanted it to look like, but it's okay. So it looks like right after this table, we're gonna start our staircase. So it has, I don't know if there's a single step that comes down into the room, but it does have the railing that kind of pops out on the one side. So we're just gonna continue this line back for right now. Let's go take a peek at it. So if we stand here, is that just a wood piece on the ground, or is that the first step? That is the first step. So it's weird, you'd expect it to align with this, and it might be step 1, step 2, and then it keeps going up. So we'll just grab this guy here and just drag him over to kind of, and then again, Command T. I'm gonna hold down shift because that's a new thing. I'm just gonna squish it just to kind of give us what we are looking at. Delete some of the excess stuff. There we go. Yeah, same. Yeah. I don't get it. Why did they do that to us? Okay, what layer? It's hard with these layers. I should be naming them. I mean, I could literally name this, like if you double click on it, I can say 2 chair, whoop, if I can type, table. And then I think this one's stairs. Upstairs, sure. And then this one is our double. Hey Jeff, new sub? Oh my gosh, hey! Thanks for the resub. Welcome, welcome. Let's look at this. Hype! I've got a cheer emote, yay! And then I can do this now. I wanted to put my emote in it, but unfortunately my bot's not subscribed to me, so he doesn't get my emotes. But hey Jeff, how's it going? Thank you so much for the sub. We are literally drawing the World of Warcraft tavern as we run around through it. So I'm not looking up plans, not doing anything. We are literally, by using props and running around, figuring out what this building looks like. And then we're gonna build it in 3D. 3D. If this is what 3D is. Reality. But yeah. And actually, do you see where I'm at? The human starting zone. So, I don't know if you're still over here, because I know you started the character, but I'll be around here. So I can do my art streams and help you do some of your quests. But yeah, so I am going to be using maybe a program that people like to laugh at, but honestly, at my job, I use it every single day. And it's free. So once we get into 3D modeling, if you guys want to download it, you can follow along or rewatch the video and kind of try to do what we do today on your own. But other programs that, Jeff, I know you are more familiar with and things that we used in class, I need to be better at that because WoW geometry is very simple, which is easy to make in the program that we're going to be using. But when it gets to more organic, complex stuff, I'm going to need to relearn how to use like Maya and all those fun things. Anyways, welcome. Thanks for the sub again. So, we've already kind of figured out the front portion. We were just doodling the staircase over here. So let's see here. We've got, and typically in the world, in real life, when it comes to codes and buildings, your typical rise over run for a staircase is, whoop, my tablet's falling off my lap. You go up 7 inches, go over 11 inches for your foot to land on. And that's your typical what you see on a staircase. So we can probably use that just as a reference, just as a, to start with in here. So if we go up 7 inches over 11 inches when we build it to scale in the model, we'll use that. So let's see how many steps we have. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Are we here? 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, right? Yes. So we'll know that when we get into the model. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These are getting skinnier. 8, 9. You know what? And our thing comes out just as far as our bottom step, pretty much. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then we have our landing up here, right? So it looks like the back of our building has to go further back. So let's cut this. Whoop. Oh, am I not on the right layer? Yeah, I'm on. See, that's the tricky thing. I was drawing on my double staircase or my double table layer. So what we're going to do to fix that is we're going to select this. We're going to copy it. We're going to delete it off that layer. And then we're going to click our upstairs layer and paste it in that layer. And then just so it doesn't get all wonky, let's see here, we're about right there. We're going to, since it's another layer, sorry, we pasted it as its own layer. But now we're gonna select both of them, we're gonna right click and we're gonna say merge layers. So now it's one layer and we're gonna do upstairs again. Okay, so let's go ahead and click this again. We're going to select the back of the house. I'm going to use control to just drag that a little bit further because it looks like, let's go ahead and run up these stairs. So you see how wide they are. I would guess in real life, typically a doorway is 3 feet wide. This looks wider. I would say that's more 4 foot. So we're probably looking at a 4 foot, 5 foot wide staircase, something like that, maybe. But it looks like this isn't as wide as the staircase when it comes to this platform. Let's see here. Let's see if I can get a good look. You think this is as deep as it is wide? Usually they, at least this landing, this landing right here. There we go, I'll zoom out. As wide as it is deep. Oh, perfect! Look at that view. Yeah, I'd say so. This looks like a decent square. And then obviously it gets tight and this starts here. So we'll make note of that. So in this, let's continue this wall. like this, and then it doubles because it goes up. But again, we're only doing the first floor, so at some point this is going to cut off. Let's use our eraser tool to get rid of, oh, that's on the stairs layer. This guy. Okay. A little messy, but again, this is supposed to be sloppy. So we have our landing, and then really it doubles on itself. So we can hold down Alt and click, left click, and then if you hold down Shift on top of that, it'll keep it going sideways, and it'll copy it. So then we can paste this here to kind of know where this staircase should align. And so when you run up and you run up here, again, we're gonna have to break the staircase to show where we're still looking at on the first floor plan. But you can see that this width of the staircase is cutting a little bit into that one. So let's see if that's correct. And actually, look at that, we're pretty good. See how it extends over past this? So really, because this railing gets doubled, we were correct when it was a little bit more like, does that look about right? Right there. There we are. So with this layer, let's go ahead and draw this wall back. And then it looks like, and we can even count these if we want to get, okay, right before, ooh, see, now I don't know about that. It's supposedly our stairs might be a little long for what we're trying to achieve, because it's saying that if you look at it here, right where that landing starts is where this half wall is. And if that's true, that puts us here. And compared to everything else in the room, that's way too deep for just those barrels. So let's go ahead and squish our stairs. We're gonna squish them nope, shift button, come on. We're gonna squish them this way. That looks, depth of the barrel, that looks a little bit more believable. And then we're gonna pull this wall back again to about, that looks like a square, right? That looks good. Okay. So let's grab this staircase. Let's connect it here, connect it here. Oops. And then because this is where it kind of cuts off on our level, we're gonna draw a heavier line here to that staircase. And then we're going to actually erase this portion of it. Haha. And then if we want to help ourselves remember that this staircase isn't going down like to the basement, usually on architectural drawings, you will have a symbol that is something like this, and it says, whoops, you know what? I'm gonna draw that on its own layer. Upstairs, let's add a layer, and let's go a little darker. We're gonna go skinny. We're gonna make an arrow. And instead of writing up usually down here, we're just gonna write it up here because, and we can do something like this to, again, help ourselves remember that that's what's going on. Okay, so we'll make our lighter gray again. Let's head back down to this layer, just cause. Alright, so let's draw on the rest of the props over here and note that there's a window. And yeah. Okay, so we have the chairs here. It looks like our window pretty much goes from our staircase, like the bottom step, honestly, like right here, all the way to maybe about right here. So do something like that to show that window. Did my brush get... No. There we go. Okay. And then below the window, kind of slightly off center, so it looks like it starts about maybe right here. We've got a bench with some stuff on it, and it ends just before this first step here. Alright. And then we've got an area rug with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 chairs. We've got one about right here, got one in the corner, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Why there are just so many random chairs in a little corner, I do not know. And then these benches serve as, I guess, coffee tables. So this one, oh, this one's actually turned a little bit. Let's do that. So we'll do this one first. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 4, 5, and 6. There we go. And then we've got one coffee table in between these guys. And then another one. Whoops, oops. Doesn't stick out that far, so these are probably a little bit smaller than what I'm drawing them, but you get the point. And then the whole area, I know we're not drawing in these area rugs right now, but essentially gets an area rug underneath it. Same with this one. This one has an area rug that extends out actually past the chairs. This one has one. Whoops. Come on. Uh-oh. Alright, on that note, I am going to save this really quick. Command S, everybody. Command S. Save your work. Alright. There we go. Alright, so now moving back. And I know we're not really showing our walls with thickness, but we can figure that out in the model, because usually your walls, you know, would have a thickness to them, but we'll get there. Okay, so looking over here now, we've got some barrels and another piece of furniture. So barrel, barrel, piece of furniture. And then on the back side, we've got our little tree of stack of barrels, and it's 3 wide on the bottom. So we've got 1, 2, 3, and then you've got the ones that split it, and then the top one, but we don't really need to show that. And then you've got the little feetsies that stick out on the sides. It might not be as snug as it is in the model, but again, this is all just guesstimating. And then, of course, above that is where we have our angled wall. So, I mean, if you want to, we can kind of show that as a dashed line, because there's something going on above it. And then if we look over here, got another window. So let's go ahead and finish this wall off. We are on that layer, right? Perfect. So this might need to extend. We don't necessarily know Well, let's see here. Where does the stair potentially end? Yeah, so it really should align there, right? So let's keep that for now and see how we can make this fit. So we've got a wall with a bar, but there's no back bar. So as long as there's room about 3 to 4 feet for somebody to stand behind it, whoops, I've got my eraser tool on. We'll start our bar probably about right here. Carry it over. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna see where it aligns with the staircase over here. So it's about, follow that board, favoring the left side of that little piece of furniture, which is about where we ended. So that's pretty good. So let's continue it this way. It's kind of a deep bar. Looks about alright. There's a barrel under here for some reason, holding up the bar on the end. Oh, also, so if you don't want to draw straight lines, okay, also with that trick about drawing straight lines, you can see how I have sometimes these random lines going across. You have to be careful because just like I said, if you make a dot first, it'll pull a straight line from that prior location. So if you're over here drawing that last mark, if I hold shift and click anywhere, it's gonna draw a line to that spot. So sometimes I forget it and I go to just hold down shift and draw a straight line, but I finish something over here and then I hold down shift to draw a straight line and I get these lines across it. So you just have to be aware of that's what happens when you do that. I forget where I was going. Oh, so let's say you were trying to draw a circle, but you can't get it to be a perfect circle no matter how many times you try. There is this thing called smoothing up here, and if you up it, it kind of follows your cursor in a smoother path, so you're able to do maybe more of that perfect circle or a smoother object just because you can pull it and it follows you. But then if you're trying to erase something up close, it's horrible. So you just have to kind of play with your smoothing and how free you want your brush to move. So back with this furniture, we've got another grouping of 6 chairs with one of these little end tables. So let's draw in the end table about right here. And then we've got one chair in the corner here, another chair in the corner here. We've got 2 chairs facing each other. And then we've got 2 more angled ones. It's a little weird, but whatever. And then we've got our bear rug. Rawr. Rawr. Squish. His teeth. Rawr. Little ears. Give him some paws. Little toesies. Little tail. Anyways, this chair is a little close, but whatever. We get the point. That's the arrangement of furniture right there. And then we've got 2 little barrels up on the thing here. Now we do have a shelf above, so I'm going to show it with a dashed line, even though this is really tiny drawing, so my marks are kind of bleeding into one another. Boof, little cute tail. Wait, I don't want to undo the cute tail. There we go. But let's see here. Let's see how far it overhangs. So it doesn't overhang the counter, and it actually is a little bit behind it, so we were guessing pretty accurately. So about right here. So we're going to do a dashed line, if I can get these to be how I want it. Whatever, you guys get the point. And it extends a little bit past the counter and then returns back to the wall. That way, if you had stuff below it, you would know that they're like upper cabinets. I'm sorry, I didn't even realize I was kind of out of the screen. Luke's playing on this side and didn't want him to distract anybody. Oh, I'm gonna take a stretch break. Okay. So, our wonky counter. That is not by any means a straight line. And then we have our door opening. So actually our door is about from right here to right here, because the wall extends out a little bit. Give this a little thickness because of just where it is. Right there, and there's our door. So we're going to go ahead and erase that so we know we can go that way. Sometimes again you can use usually when you do a section cut through a building, so for example, so if we're drawing this in elevation, whoop, wonky line, and this is, you know, the top of our house here, and you have well, let's say it's a first story house. You have your door. Doors are usually about 6'8" at the minimum, 7 foot tall. In order to be able to show that there's nothing there so you can walk through, when you do a section cut through a building, I think there's a general rule where it's 6 foot up from the ground or something like that, just so when you go to cut it, you slice it in half below the top of the door so that goes away, so you can see through it. Just as a fun little fact. Boop, 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 shwoop. Right. Time to do the kitchen, and then we'll pull this and start building it in SketchUp. Anyways, okay, so I believe, remember how on the outside of the building it kind of ended here, but then there was a portion that stuck out the back? I believe this is an exterior wall. So this will be the outside of our building right here. So outside wall, outside wall. Just make them a little thicker for right now. And we'll erase that line here. And we got our chimney. Okay, but this is not an exterior wall. This is an interior wall. So I'm gonna erase this, just so we know that's part of the inside. And we'll do the back side of this place now. Okay, so once we come in here, it's kind of a long rectangular room as well. We'll use this wall to kind of help us guess the depth of this space. So if we're gonna continue this way, it's gonna be something maybe like meh. Let's continue this wall about the same. So we've got a good gap here before this wall unit starts. So I'd say probably about right here, something like this. And it's kind of hanging off the wall. Maybe it goes, I don't know, do you think that, I don't know, that doesn't look like too much. This room might be a little bit longer than expected. But it's a pretty, fairly long, I don't know who's giving me a call, but I'm not answering at the moment. Can I just end that? Sorry. Come on, I want to get back to my mobile dashboard, whoever you are trying to call me. I wonder if my hair appointment had an opening earlier in the day and they're trying to get me to come in, but sorry. I've got plans with you lovely people. Okay, cool. Mobile dashboard. Back up and running. Alright, so in the same exact gap, about half of this is where our staircase starts. So our railing for the stairs starts about here, we'll say. So, and then the staircase, however, starts behind that. So the stairs probably start about right here, but that railing comes out to about right here. We'll just continue that backwards, thinking that this is probably the depth of the room. We got a little barrel in the corner. Barrel. And a sack of grain or something on the ground. I've got a new voicemail. Okay, phone, I get it. I'm so popular. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, let's back out. Okay, stop it. What is happening? Okay. I don't know. I don't care that the Jaguars and the Colts are playing right now. I don't know. It was just notification city there for a second. Okay, so if we're looking over here, oh my gosh, there's no fall protection. If I was standing here, I'd fall right down there. Where is our railing? Guessing, well, they don't really care about safety. Okay, so we can see that this portion of the fireplace does stick underneath here. So it starts about right here. It's kind of a funky shape, so it does kind of comes out of the wall and kind of snakes back. So something like this, and then I don't know where it ends. Let's turn our camera. Good day to you. Ends about here. So this is where I can up my smoothing. So I can do, and there we go. And I'll just erase some of that. I know I erased the other portion, but it's okay. I'll just draw that back over top. Okay. So if this is the edge of our room, let's go ahead and take this back to there. Okay, and bring our staircase, hole, pit of death, to the creepy basement, back to there. There's a barrel. Oopsie, I can't draw as freely because I have my aim smoothing. Aim smoothing! Jeez. You think I play games too much? My pen smoothing up too much. So here's a larger barrel, and then a barrel standing upright, and then a barrel on this platform. And then we have the mantle that kind of sticks out of the wall. Okay, this is a little complicated to try to show, but we've got the stone is above it, but not below it, which is strange. This kind of square brick, and it hops around the side. So that starts about right here, goes along here, and we'll continue it along this wall just because it's above that mantle. So there's that brick portion of our thing. And then where she's cooking right now, there's another little portion down below, like about there, that hosts the actual fire. Actually, I think it goes a little further. Oh look, she just leveled her cooking. Or leveled, actually. You know what? I think we cut this a little... I don't know, whatever. This is guesstimating again. There's that, and then the mantle is above. But we'll use photo references, or we'll look at this when modeling that. Then we have our stairs again that go down, and they actually go down all the way to that building, or to the outside wall here. So it's strange, the basement, I wish I could pan my camera outside. I believe this is the exterior wall right here. But our basement stairs end there, and it looks like underneath in the ground, our basement would do something like this. You know what I mean? It's almost underneath the ground and not the building itself. It kind of takes up that back spot. But we'll do that another day. Well, maybe we'll dash it out before we bring it in here. How many steps we got? 1, 2... This is gonna be a little hard to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And that's where our first flight of steps would be. Boop. In the other room. Before you probably double them to get up to the second floor. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 steps. I'm just gonna write that off to the side, 21. And this was 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're not gonna get it. I'm just gonna show these best steps though, at least. Then we'll do the same thing where we'll draw an arrow. And oh, did I do that on a whatever? Down. Oh, and then in the center of this room, we've got this butcher block table. It's about yay big. We've got a little barrel, an open sack of grain, and then a little pile of them here. Sure. We've got our meat, our gross ribs, and weird chunks of meat on the table. Om nom nom. And then another way, if you want to, we're not going to be putting them in. I mean, we could always put them in as flats later, but to show a person from a 2D perspective, you kind of do something like this, where, oh, those are their shoulders and this is their head. So, you know, there's a guy standing by the fireplace, there's another guy standing right here in front of that table. If we go back in the other room, there's a guy standing right in front of this chair, about right here. And then, so imagine again, you're looking down on their shoulders and a head on top of that is what we're doodling. And then there's the lady who's standing right here. So there we are. So we've pretty much completed the very first floor. So what we can do is we'll go ahead and just, for the heck of it, make it, oh wait, I was holding down shift. New version, you don't hold down shift. So it was getting a little wonky. There we go. We'll do that. And then we'll group this and we'll call this first floor. And then we'll go File, Save As. We can bring it in as a picture and then we can draw on top of it. So we'll save it as a JPEG. Artstream, WoW Tavern Plans, perfect, save. We don't need it to be that crazy of a file. Just... Alright. So, is everything aligning on the screen fairly well? I forgot to... I was probably drawing it more center. My bad. I should have been drawing it over here. But yeah, so we kind of walked through the whole space, doodled it out to the best of our knowledge. And now we're going to get into the 3D modeling program. After I take a sip of water because my coffee is too cold and disgusting. So right now, I no longer really need this guy because that was really just for drawing. We'll probably need him back for when we do textures in Photoshop in order to bring him into our model. But until then, let's go ahead and minimize this and pull up this. So this is Google SketchUp. Let me actually do this. So, this is the program that we'll be using. I know some 3D modelers like to make fun of this program just because it is a little more user-friendly and simple, but at the same time, for quick turnaround projects and simple geometry, it is an amazing tool. I'll also show you, we'll custom make a lot of our objects just so they look exactly how they do in the game, but there's a thing called the Google Warehouse, which also is just a whole bank of 3D models for you to choose from. So when it comes to maybe some of the like bottles on the shelves or the candelabras on the tables and we want to prop them out, what I will do is I will go to the Google Warehouse, search candelabra, and there'll be models out there already made, and you can just download them in to populate your model. So it saves you time, somebody else has already made it for you, and you can kind of add to your space. There's also textures out there, I guess, too. Never thought about that. But if you go to Sketchup, their website, this is what it looks like. So there's a SketchUp Pro, and what that allows you to do is to do more architectural based drawings. So you can take it into a program called Layout, and in that program you can do all the scenes you save in SketchUp, which will save some scenes. I'll walk you through that. You can pull into Layout as almost like a viewport, and then you can have floor plans and elevations and sections, and you can even pull out like, oh, I just want to dimension this dresser because we're going to get that custom built, and you can put a bunch of measurements on it. You can put little notes that say this is made out of I don't know, this type of wood with this type of stain, and this is the spec for the hardware on it. Like, you can just do all of that. Unfortunately, SketchUp Pro is very expensive, and that is not free. But just the modeling portion of it, SketchUp, is. So let me know if this music's a little loud or not. Divinity Sin, or Divinity Sin. Divinity Original Sin. This is the game that this is from. Anyways, so you can try SketchUp for free. It will probably put you in a trial and then say upgrade to Pro, but instead of just doing that, products, let's see here. You don't want to do SketchUp on the web. Music volume's fine? Okay, perfect, thank you. Because for some reason, they're like, oh, our newest and greatest free SketchUp is online. So it pulls it up in a web page, a web browser, which is not what you want. You want a program on your computer that you can use, that you're not having to rely on internet access or just, it's just in a web page, and that's just weird. It's in your browser. So don't do that. You don't do Pro. Viewer, let's see. Oh, there's SketchUp free. Products, SketchUp free. See, if I click this, it's gonna take me to... I know I have to sign in, but what you want is, I have SketchUp 7, I believe, 2017. And that's the version that you can still download for your desktop for free. I will post the link to Discord once I find it. Again, feel free to join the Discord. It's still a work in progress, but I'll maybe throw it in my announcements or just stream information, or maybe art, just because if you want to follow along, it'll be in one of those categories. But let's do free SketchUp. No. 2017. Yeah, it's called SketchUp Make, and it's the 2017 version, and you can download it for free, but we'll deal with that later. That's what I have. Right, you can see at the top of my screen, Sketchup Make 2017. If you can find that link on their website, which you can, don't download it from some weird other website. It'll bring you here. So I already came in, and when you pick a template, I chose architectural feet and inches, as that's what I'm used to. It comes with a scale person just so you can see what a typical height of a person would look like compared to other things, just as a reference point. This guy, if I use just my pen tool, I'm going to hold down shift to keep it on the blue axis. And click the top of his head, and in the lower right hand side of my screen, down here, it tells me the distance. And he's about, oh, he's short. Not short, but he's my height. He's 5'6". Oh. Really? Oh. I'm 5'5.5", so. That's why he looks so short compared to our night elf lady over here, who is, she's about 7 foot to the top of her head. So what's nice is I already pulled her in. What I did to make her, and you see how they both follow the camera, I'll just show you how I did that real quick. So let's move her to the side. So anytime, again, it's a little hard with moving something around, but if you want it, you can see how it snaps to the axis. And once you find the axis, you can hold down shift, and no matter what, it'll stay on it. Or you can hit your arrow keys, and you can cycle through. So even if you can't find the axis, you can click on one of them, and it'll find it for you, which is helps you move around in this 3D space. But if I draw this square on the green axis and the blue axis, you can see I was snapping to it. We said, so watch the lower right hand side of my screen. You can see the dimensions moving as I move it. So it looks like it's doing width before height. Let's maybe just do 3 feet wide, comma 7 foot tall, because that's how tall she is. So now we have a square, a flat square that is 3 foot wide by 7 foot tall. So now when I click on the surface, I'm going to go up to File, Import, and I already made her, I took a screenshot out of the game, I brought it into Photoshop, I erased everything besides her and saved her as a PNG. So no background and just her is what the file is that we're going to be bringing it in. And so I'm bringing it in. You can bring it as an image, but it's going to have a border. I think you might be able to hide that still, but I like to bring it in as a texture, so I'm going to import that image, and see now I have this kind of texture with the paint bucket. I'm going to click the lower left hand corner and drag it to the point where she's just about touching the top, like right there. So you can see that when you make a texture, it repeats. So we're just going to click the side of the square and drag, find the red axis, drag it in about to her side, like that. The thing is, a PNG allows you to have the see-through portions everywhere, but the thing is, this texture is only applied on this side, so if I turn my camera around, you see how it's now just the square again. What we're going to do is we're going to click the paint bucket tool, and by using Alt, we get this eyedropper tool. We're going to select that texture that we just found. So let me close some of these. Going to be materials. Okay, let's just go to materials and model. There we go. So over here we've got our other tools and things that we can change. So under the materials tab, you'll be able to find materials that come with SketchUp that are in here, like maybe glass and grass and some concrete and wood. But then if you click the little home button, it'll show you just the materials currently in your model. So you can see I brought her in twice. But by picking up the eyedropper tool, like if I click his shirt, it'll find that material for you over here. So I'm going to click her, and it's going to be now what I'm painting. So I'm going to turn and paint it on this side, and it automatically flips it for you, which is nice, so it aligns, and voila. So now you're looking, you're like, wait a second, two things. She follows my camera wherever I turn. She does not. She goes flat. And she's got this border around her. Well, what you're going to want to do is If you triple click, like if you click once, you get that surface or that line. If you double click, you'll get the surface and the square, the lines around it. But let's say if this was a cube, you'd only get that face and those lines. But if you triple click, you'll get the whole, anything that it's touching, because in Sketchup everything likes to touch each other, and as soon as you touch something with another line or a geometry, it'll stick to it. Unless you group this one and you can touch them, they're different groups, so you can pull them apart. But if you build this and you touch them, suddenly I go to move this one and it pulls a portion of that one with it. I'll show you some examples. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to triple double click on this guy, hold down shift to unselect the center, and then I'm going to right click the border and just hit hide so that disappears. And then two different things. If you right click and you make it a group, it just groups that object. So now if I click this and put it on anything, it's not going to stick to it. It's its own group. But what you can also do is you can right click and you can make something a component. And we're going to be doing that to a lot of our pieces of furniture. And what that means is if you make it a component and then you copy and paste it, if you edit this one will change too. So if I realize that the chair is way too big and I want to change that, or if I start to put a texture on this chair, instead of having to do it on every single chair, as long as I make one, create a component, and copy and paste that, I can edit one chair and the rest of the chairs in the space will be changed at the same exact time, which is really nice. Oops, I hit my volume button. So, this night elf, because we're not really going to have copies of her, I don't think I'm necessarily going to make her a component for right now. I'm just going to keep her as a group. However, I did make her a component because in order to get her to face the camera all the time, what we're going to have to do is right click, make component, and then you see this little button right here. It says always face camera. And then shadows face sun. I don't get that, because wouldn't the shadows go away from the sun? I don't know. Not really quite sure what that is, but I think it means it's going to have a shadow, and whenever it's facing the sun, it's going to have shadows behind it, you know, lighting and all that. Anyways, so we're just going to hit OK and create. And now you see that she follows us. And that's just meaning I'm selecting her, but as soon as I click off, you'll see that that's how we created her. So I'm just going to delete this one for now. Why not? Because we have this one now. So that's how I made her. But what we're going to do is we're going to import as just a picture our floor plan that we created. So, it's not a PNG, it was a JPEG. And here's the floor plan. So we're just gonna not have it as a texture this time, but we're gonna make it an image. We're gonna click that and we're gonna hit import. And all we're gonna do is we're gonna click. And then in order to move around so easily, you can see there are move tools up here at the bar, but on your mouse, if you use the center wheel and push it down, it's a pan, or orbit, sorry, an orbit tool. And then if you hold down shift while you're still holding down the center button, that pans. And then so really as long as you keep your finger on your center wheel, you can zoom in and out, you can orbit, and you can pan. So that's how I'm navigating throughout this model. So moving my view to be top down, I'm just gonna kind of guess at the moment how big it should be, and I'm just gonna click. So this obviously looks a little small. I'm just gonna delete our guy for now because we don't really need him. But we're gonna put her in here. So there's a couple ways we can go about attempting to figure out the size of the space. You know, World of Warcraft dimensions aren't necessarily the same as in our reality. Big surprise. But what we can do is, knowing her height, we can kind of use some of the in-game textures and just how she compares to them to figure out maybe how tall the room is or how wide a wall is. So I might use this little wing wall right here as a reference point. So obviously this still looks, she's not as wide as one of these bookcases. So we're gonna go ahead and click on this and use the scale tool up here. And we're going to make it a little bit bigger. Maybe a little bit more. Then we're gonna click on her, gonna drag her, this is the move tool. I'm gonna drag her back in. And now what we're going to do is, in World of Warcraft, we're gonna click back, oops, I made that a little bit bigger. Mess that up on here. We're gonna go back into WoW. Oh my gosh, I'm using my Sketchup orbiting things to try to turn my camera in WoW now. It's gonna be weird. Okay, so we're gonna run over here. Maybe jump up on this table. This is gonna be weird. Trying to think of the best way to do this. So this wall is really double one of these things. So if I run to the other side, can I get that? No, I can't. Dang it. Oh well. We're gonna fix the texture later, but we're gonna try to get as level a view of this wall, and we're gonna take a screenshot of it, and we're gonna use it to compare heights. So I'm gonna stand in front of it. We'll face this way just so our pretty face is facing outwards. Walk backwards into the wall. Okay, so you see my figure compared to this wall, and look at my figure compared to this wall in our SketchUp. Yeah, our building's way too small. I mean, this ceiling height in here is probably 16 feet tall, at least, because if my girl is 7 foot tall, if you even look inside WoW, I know it's tiny on the screen, but if you were to double her, it would probably take us to just above that bulkhead, the beam going across, and the ceiling actually goes above that. So we're gonna use our snipping tool. So if you go to your search, if you have Windows, you go to SNIP for snipping tool. We're gonna hit new, and we're gonna come over here to the WoW screen. And because we're looking at this wall in perspective, it's gonna be a little wonky, but we're gonna fix that in Photoshop. So I'm gonna save that. Here, I'll pull it over to the screen, sorry. So pretty much, we took a screenshot of this in WoW, and we're gonna go to the save button. And we'll just name this, I don't know, wall, entry, wall. PNG, sure. Save. We can exit out of that. And then we're gonna open up Photoshop again. Go File. Actually, we're gonna go to our file where we saved our folder, or the folder where we saved our files. And we're gonna click on the entry wall picture. We're gonna right click and say open with Photoshop. So now we have this. You can see that the layer is the background, so it might get, oh there we go. It's actually being all right. So our walls in reality are going to be square, right? You know, they're gonna be straight up and down. This wall is not going to be tilted like this, like it's showing in the picture. So we're going to Command T to alter this, and we're going to go to skew, and that will allow us to kind of stretch this out to make it straight up and down. Again, it's gonna get a little weird just because of our perspective in the game, but it'll be good enough to get us, you know, get us somewhere. So that looks, I know the bookcase is wonky. I'm looking mainly at the wall. Oh, you know what? I lied. That is angled. That totally is angled, because if you were to go straight up, it would hit about right there. So let's use the bookcase, actually. My bad. To kind of give us reference. So we actually are probably doing something like this. I lied! I know. Well, I had to figure it out. I thought it was straight. An illusion. So actually our screenshot is pretty accurate. I'm gonna have to crop it at the top a little bit. That center one does look a little tilted too. Tilted. It's so mad. Wonky WoW architecture. Alright, whatever. This is gonna be good enough. So we really don't have to fix much. I understand that like we're not gonna be able to use this as a texture in our model. We'll end up actually grabbing bits and pieces and putting our own textures together later on. But for right now, let's just go ahead and use this as is. I don't even think I really... Yeah, I changed it a little bit. We'll just go ahead and save as. Same thing. Save. Yes, let's replace it. Okay. And then inside this, let's go ahead and make this much bigger, just because we're guessing. And move our girl over here. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna move her back in WoW, just so we can have that view on the lower left. Okay, so that looks about accurate with her placement. The staircase might be a little wide, but again, we're gonna work all of this out. This actually might be a little too wide, but we'll figure it out. So again, with her being about 7 foot tall, it looks like if you grab her, actually, we'll do that real quick. So you see her? Let's grab from the top of her head, down. And let's do copy paste, Control C, Control V, and we'll just stack her on her head. Yeah, so if she's 7 foot tall, that's 14 feet. So maybe 16, 17, maybe we'll say it's an 18-foot ceiling. Okay, we'll roll with that. We'll try it. So I'm gonna create a square. Let's see here. How thick do we think this wall is? It might be... This end piece might be a 2 foot wide column, 2 feet by 2 feet, kind of column. It extends out of the wall on this side, not on this side, but we'll use that as a reference. So if it's maybe a 2 foot thing on the end, it might overhang 6 inches on this side. So we'll make our wall 1'6" deep, we'll say. And it actually looks about accurate. Look at how wide our line is, and look at the bottom right. There's 1'6" and 5/16. So we'll make it a... We'll do 26 feet long by 1'6" wide, and see how this ends up panning out. So let's go. So again, I triple clicked. I'm gonna move this now just to be a little bit more in line with our floor plan below. And then we said maybe 18-foot ceilings, right? So what I'm using is the push and pull tool up here. We're gonna click, and we're gonna, you can just click if you want to. You can also click a reference. Like if we had her lines showing, we could click the top of that square. But we're gonna type in 18 feet, which might be a little tall. Let's turn around. And how we're gonna be able to figure that out is we're gonna use the texture. So you see here, now that we have a 3D shape, if I double click this side, I get only this face and the surrounding lines. But if I triple click the shape, I get the entire shape. And when I was talking about how, okay, well, I made a square here. If I make a square over here, you know, oh, look, they're two different shapes. Great. But as soon as I take this square and touch this square with it, if I try to move it, let's bring it to the corner. These shapes suddenly become one shape. You see that? So let's say this was a piece of furniture or a beam across the ceiling, but now I want to move it, it's stuck because now it is part of that geometry. So in order for us to keep things that we want apart, we group them or create components. However, like let's say you did want to cut a door in this one, stuff sticking to each other is pretty good because drawing this square or this rectangle on top of this rectangle, I'm able to separate that surface. And then I can even use, whoops, getting my tools out of my toolbar. I can even use the push and pull tool to push something either in and out, or once it gets to this point, it'll make a hole. See? So it's pretty simple. Just using undo. But let me click this surface and go File, Import. And we're going to do texture, and we saved it as a PNG. So let's go ahead and grab this, hit import. We're going to click the lower left and drag it up to about the height that she is. So maybe our first guess was more accurate when it came to, what is this? 16 feet and 3/8, so it was a 16-foot ceiling. Look at that. So we did 18, so we're gonna move it down with the push and pull tool 2 feet. And that puts us about right there. Now you can see that this wall is angled. I wonder how that plays out with the wall. I mean, I guess this is slightly wonky and that's slightly wonky. It's gonna be annoying. Oh, look at that. Do you guys see it? The inside wall does this. Outside wall does this. So it's a tapered wall on both sides. That's annoying. Nothing we can't build though. So instead of easier straight up and down walls where we can just do this and then like even, you know, inset it another 1'6", draw a line up, we'd be able to just simply make everything straight up and down and pull our walls off each other. But because it's going to be angled, it's going to be more building with lines and then connecting them just because of the shapes. I mean, I could essentially do something like this, and then I could drag the bottom sides of this to make it bigger. Like I could do, you know, something like that and something like that. But the problem is our inside wall only angles this way, and when it goes outside is when it tapers both ways. So it's almost like this portion of it really needs to be its own shape, but oh well, we'll figure that out. So there's a bunch of ways you can kind of go about this, but trying to figure out the way that I want to go about it myself. I mean, that was kind of working out. But we at least have to push this in to the point where it meets the top, like that. So let's see what happens if we take the bottom of this wall. See that? I just grabbed the line with the move tool, and I'm going to, I was like, why is the other side acting weird? So I drew a line there. We're gonna go ahead and click this, keep it on the red axis, and drag it inwards. I think it's about 1'7", but I kind of want to just increase the size of the texture. No, we'll just do 1'8". Oh, come on. What did it do? Drag a new one. Oh, I did 1/8. Whoops. Let's undo that. Edit, redo, erase. We're gonna grab this. We're gonna move it in 1'8" to get that angle on that wall. Liar! No! I don't mean to lie. I thought it was true. Never lie to you guys. Okay, so let's figure this out. It angles out, but it aligns with this on the back side. So let's bring this portion of this wall to align with this, right? But actually, because this is the thickness of this wall, we really need to move it to about right here. So it looks like our floor plan needs to shrink down just a smidge. We can also move her in this stairway. Alright, get off the wall, girl. And just stand next to it. And then we can see that maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 of her can fit comfortably side by side, so we can kind of just use that to figure out our width of our staircase as well. For right now, I'm going to make this a group, and we'll keep her around. Let's go ahead and move this. Just kind of a guessing game of how much we think it extends into the staircase, how big the plan is. Let's go ahead and make the plan a little bit smaller, and then I think we should be okay to move on. Pretty accurate. Okay. It doesn't extend that far into our stairs though. I'm a stickler. I'm a particular one. Fix our plan based off that wall. So we'll just have to edit other things. Okay, so in order to build, we at least know our ceiling height, right? And it is going to go above ever so slightly because this wall where we cut it off is about right here. So it is 16 feet to the bottom of these beams. But we're going to want our ceiling to go all the way up, and then we're going to add down those large beams that go across. So that looks like it is 2 feet. So actually I think we were correct on our second guess when it came to an 18-foot ceiling. But I guess we'll... No, let's go ahead and add our 2 feet. I have no idea what this is. I don't even think it's part of my playlist. Nope, it's not. It's kind of cool. We'll leave it go, but I'm gonna hop back to my playlist after this. Alright. I need some water. Stay hydrated. Okay. So, angled walls. Angled walls are always so fun. So how much wider do we think it goes? Do we think it kind of doubles? Because, yeah, so if we angled a 1'6" here, it probably is angled out the same on either side. So, oh, okay, that actually kind of works out for us. Maybe, maybe not. I'm trying to see where this wall angle starts and stops real quick, because we accidentally did that where we put a line in the wall and we just extended upwards after. Does it go straight up or does it continue to angle through it? I think it continues to angle through it. So what we can do is we can either undo that or we can follow this line here and then drag this portion out to meet that same angle. So see how we can drag that? I'm gonna hold shift, I'm gonna click that, and then because it's on the same plane, I can delete that and we're good to go. Let me run around to the other side again. This is gonna start taking form. It'll be fun. Okay. So, I'm gonna offset this 1'6", and then we're gonna pull this out to the front. Kind of like that. But because this wall, let's see here. How deep do we think that is? We're just gonna have to guess on a lot of this stuff. Let's go back to this. I'm just gonna go from our plan. Alright, so from here to the back wall. Oof, that's 14 feet? Really? I don't think so. I think at most that's like... See, but again, I'm looking at this person as if they're 5'5". They're 7 foot tall. So really, if I lay down on the ground, do you think two of me could fit between here and here? I think it's a little less. I'm thinking it's gonna be more along... Oops, I'm in the wrong thing. I need to be over here. Like, how wide do we want this hallway to be? Let's make it 10 feet or 12 feet? At most 10 feet. If I lay down, it might be a little bit longer than me, so we're gonna make it, we'll say 10 foot for now. Oh my gosh, sorry, I need to click in here. 10 feet. Oops, I clicked wrong. 10 feet. Does that seem a little too tight? Alright, if that's 10 foot and we're standing in that hallway, let's put our character there and see how that looks. If we had another wall, we'll just make a wall real quick. Made it just as tall. Ah! Oh my gosh, come on. Let's see. This is what a 10-foot gap would look like. Does that look about accurate, or is that a little skinny? So what we can do is we can make it a 12 foot. That's starting to look a little too far. I think 10 feet is about right. Okay, so with that being said, we are going to actually So really, we're just using our plan as guidance below. But things are gonna have to kind of be squished and moved. So if it's 10 feet here, I'm pretty sure that aligns, like that same width is where this wall cuts in. So we're gonna find this, we're gonna carry it over here, and I'm gonna guess that's where our little barrel nook ends, which puts us from the front of the wall 11 foot 6 back. Something like that. But the biggest part about that is this is where the outside starts then. So we're gonna draw a line up our wall, like that. We're gonna build another shape in order for it to have that angled look from the outside. And I think it's pretty evenly kind of tapered on both sides. So since we have, just draw the shape here on the end, it's gonna kind of look like this. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna copy those faces, drag and use the control key to copy and paste them. We're gonna right click and say flip along green. Nope. Flip along red. So you get that shape, and then we're gonna put that there. I don't know if that looks a little too wide. We might be able to mess with that taper. But really, it's pretty drastic. It's a little wide on the bottom there. It doesn't really get that skinny at the top, does it? It's not as dramatic of a pitch. We'll mess with it. We'll mess with it. Okay. So, we're gonna use this shape. Oops, edit, redo. And we're going to pull it to the inside wall. Which actually, if this is the inside, it's going to have to be 1 foot 6 back because that's the thickness of our wall. And now that we have this, we can delete these lines. So I would usually maybe build this front entry as a separate piece that kind of hooks on, but the problem is it uses the same interior wall, so we're gonna kind of just build the whole thing, all the walls potentially on the same layer, or not the same layer, the same group. So this floor, first floor is straight up and down, which is nice. So this wall around the perimeter is going to be straight up and down. How wide is that saying that is? 14 feet? We'll do 14 feet. Why not? Is that little nook wider than it is deep? Let's double check. I don't know about that. It actually doesn't look wider than it's deep. If anything, it looks square, maybe deeper than it is wide. It's just really hard to tell with those barrels. So honestly, if we did, it's 11 foot 6. Right, come on. 11 foot 6, maybe let's just do 12 feet? 11 foot 6 again? Which puts us right there. Let's see how that looks, and we can always move our wall. I'll only build a portion of it. So go here, 1 foot 6 off. Continue this way. We'll just maybe hit it to right there for now. There we go. So let's pull this up. Of course. Let's get rid of that actually. Gosh dang it. Alright. We're going to use this guy to pull out that portion that way, so then we can just pull this one straight up. See, it's a little weird. You learn kind of the tips and tricks when it comes to how to build funky geometry and how things, again, stick to one another. But you'll get there. And I have to kind of work through it myself. What did you say, Jeff? Nagons? I'm gonna sound really dumb and say, I don't know what that means. Did I say something like that? Anyways. That was our 10 feet out here. I'm just gonna delete that so it's not a solid square. How do we feel about the way that this looks? Does it need to be deeper? Do we feel like it's fine? Size-wise, we did squish it a little bit, but it's pretty much square now. I think it looks alright. Put 2 barrels in there. It'll work. Alright, so if that's the case. Yeah, our whole plans are going to kind of get a little more squish. So if we want to, we can kind of actually squish them this way. Just so it helps, it starts matching up. I might squish it this way too. N-gons, it's when a polygon has more than 4 sides. Everything you try to avoid. I know. This is Sketchup. Look at all that craziness right there. But it's becoming more simplified, right? I could have broken it up where this was an angle here and it was its own group, but I want it to all kind of stick together. And look at all that. I'm gonna have all the walls attached to one another for the most part, and then the furniture and floor and other things be different. But so if we did 10 foot this way, we're gonna want 10 feet. This is straight, right? Yeah, 10 foot off of this. Wait, did we do 10 feet? Yes. So this will end up being the width of our door, like that. So it does feel a little long. Let's scale this again. Okay, that's kind of fitting a little bit better. But we've got to shrink this guy back because I don't think he sticks out that long. We'll be able to edit that in the future. But let's grab this face and squish him back. How far is that? That's 17 7/16. Let's get an even number. I'm just gonna draw a line here to give myself a reference point. So like, how far do we want this to extend out? Is this another maybe like 12 feet? Looks like it lines up pretty well. Yeah, we'll go back so it's an even 12 feet off the front of the building. Nice. So we might be able able to just copy this face and bring it back before it goes up, because the center wall, or this wall here, is also angled. So let's see what happens when we do that. Let's move this back for right now. So that'll be the inside facing wall. So we're just gonna copy this again by clicking Control and using our move tool. We're able to do that. I don't know, is that feeling squish? Do we have to do it wider? It might look squished because it's showing that it's much taller than what it is, but really you can see that this is where our ceiling is inside, so it is another 2 feet down. So if we did something like this, oops, 2 feet, and it even might be lower than that, but if we did something across there and kind of started looking at it like that, does it feel better? I don't know, it's bothering me. Okay, we said that's 10 feet. Let's at least do, we're gonna add 1 more foot to that. And then we'll be able to move this 1 more foot this way. Which means this guy has to move a foot, this guy has to move a foot. Oh no, wait, I lie. That one stays the same because we moved this one out a foot. We have an 11-foot hallway. Do we want to widen this then? Kind of keep it as is. I might just keep it as is. I mean, that feels better already. Let's go ahead and put our character up here. See how this looks. Oh my god, those things are huge! Alright, let's see if this helps at all. Whatever, it's the back side of me. Yeah, they're a little big. Wide-wise. And they need to get cut off about here. Holding down my button too long. Okay. We're gonna do something crazy. We're gonna move this in. See, it's gonna start making our geometry all funky though. Okay. Let's maybe do 6 inches. And then connect that to the. What am I doing? 6 inches in. Let's move these guys 6 inches that way. Here, like that. I'm afraid I'm messing up my geometry. have to look how it looks like underneath. But that feels better than how wide that one is, compared to how wide that one is. Whenever it has a face like this, it just is reversed for some reason, so you can right click and reverse the face. I should be able to still grab this, move it back and forth. Yeah, okay, so it's not too messed up. So then what we're gonna do is we're gonna delete this guy, we're gonna grab this one, we're gonna move it over here. So now let's use our night elf as reference again in the model. Just stand along the side. So this time to the bottom of it, it looks like it might be 1 3/4 of us. So just to make ourselves feel better about these predicted or estimated heights. Let's move it back in the door. And I understand that the whole house is up on a step, and we'll do that at the end. Oh my gosh, stop running. I'm not trying to run. Alright, let's face her forehead. Forward. We'll put her in here against this right one, just cause. Man, the angles still seem a little drastic. Whatever, I'll leave them for now. I might be able to kind of work with them after. But again, if we're going a full her, so like 7 feet plus maybe that much, so like maybe 12 foot. This is where I see this ceiling being. So you know what's funny, honestly? If you look at her here, you look at her here, does ours look a little wider? Oops, I'm not inside that group. I'm just gonna do this for visualizing sake. So it closes it off. Does that look a little wide? Let's move it back to our 10 feet. Gotta play the guessing game, you know? So move this, or 6. How did I move it over? Okay, hold up. Oops. Okay, let's go back into this group. Let's draw 10 feet from here. Actually, we'll do it from back here because of the sticky things. 10 feet. And then we're gonna grab this guy over here. Grab his back little corner, move him so he's 10 feet apart. Man, that's 1'6" that we moved. We said what? It was potentially a 12-foot ceiling here. Sorry, 1 second. Okay, I think it was my hairstylist. She can definitely see me earlier. But I've got plans with you guys. Okay, does this feel better? Should we go back to what it was before? Keeping it 10 feet? Alright, doing 10 feet. So we're gonna move this back again. 1 foot, right? Is that what we did? Yeah, that's 11. 10. 10. So if we do this all the way back to that one. Something like that. Okay. And the ceiling height in here is much... It has to be lower. See how this slopes? It slopes and it hits it here. This is much lower here. Luke's asking me what I want for lunch. 1 second. Actually, let me fix this real quick, and then I'm gonna take like a quick minute break just to talk lunch real quick with Luke, and then I'll be right back after that. But let's go ahead and, I mean, I guess we can keep this at 11 feet. It doesn't really bother me, but we're going to build off of this wall. So we have to make it straight to make it easy to push and pull. So we're gonna just build this funky shape to get us to be straight, and our wall is 1 foot 6 deep. So we can either type it in or use this as reference. And now we're gonna pull it across, just an estimated amount to about right there. And we're kind of seeing the shape of our first floor come together. So this is what we're looking at, but on the outside. That actually looks pretty good for guessing, right? Yeah, so we've got our funky wall on the inside. We'll figure out how long this one is when we start putting in the window. And again, if we want to, we can utilize textures like this to kind of help guess how long certain walls are as well. Let me erase this guy. And exit that group. So when you see me click on something like this, I double click in order to access editing that group. And then just to simply get out of that, I hit the X button. So let me grab our little Sahalia, bring her back inside. And cool. So, yeah, okay, so give me like a two minute break here real quick. I'm gonna drink some water, heat up my coffee, and talk to Luke real quick. But I'll let the music play, and I will be back to continue building this fun tavern with you guys. I also like it because with the holidays coming, I love the tavern and the tavern music with the fireplace because it's so cozy. But anyways, okay, I'll let the music keep playing. I will be right back. One second. Alrighty, sorry about that. He's gonna go get Subway or something. I think we might do Pizza Hut for dinner. I had a wrap left over that I made yesterday, half of it, and so, because I didn't eat anything besides a breakfast bar earlier today, I wanted to shove down my wrap really quick so I could keep streaming. And then I wanted to message my hairstylist back real quick. Alright, let's keep going. So, let's run inside here. It would be nice to know about approximately how wide one of these boards is on the floor, because then we can count the boards to know how wide something is. Hey, Crumb, you're in my way. So if we look down at our character, it's about how wide we are, right? A little bit wider than our feet, but probably just a little bit wider than our shoulder blades, our shoulder pieces, our armor. So, if we come back over here to SketchUp, let's go ahead and do View Hidden Geometry, because then we can see about how wide this box is around here. So we'll grab this line, bring it in as tight as we can. And same with this one. Ah! Come on, why are you acting up? Exit out of her. So, again, let's look at our character in comparison to this board. Pretty much where her hands lie, I would say, is a good estimate about how wide that board is. Yeah. So, if we use our character here to be a width of one of those boards, this becomes a little bit of an issue when she follows the camera. Let's stop her from doing that at the moment. Let's go camera, standard views, maybe back. This puts us flat on with her. Let's explode her. And then just make her a group. And now she no longer will follow us because she's no longer a component. But let's go ahead. How wide is she? About 2'3". Maybe the boards are about 2 feet wide. I think they're wider than that. Also, Luke was so sweet. He's watching over there, and when he left to go get his Subway, I saw that he had a subscription to share, so I shared it for him. So thank you, hun, for subscribing 9 months straight. Jeez Louise. What's his little sub badge look like? I guess he has to type in so you can see it. more of a 2'6" wide board. Screw it. 2'4". Done. Okay, so now looking at this, we'll be able to kind of place them and see how they end up lining up with everything else. So let's make that a group. Let's go ahead and put it over here in the corner. So this is supposedly 1, 2, 3, 4, and some change of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, and some change. Look at that. Pretty good. Not 100% exact. We're hanging a little bit further over, but again, maybe this is a 2'6" wide board. That's pretty good. So we're gonna just continue this. Instead of copying one over, I'm gonna just grab all of these. Oh, that's gonna keep beeping. I'm gonna wanna stop that. Oh, wait, am I grabbing the floor plan as well? Oops, yes I am. So just grabbing those to bring across. And we can see, we can count the boards and see how many of them go to the wall. And then that'll help us determine the width of this place. So you can see at the edge of this wall, look, we did a pretty good job at estimating that one too. So this is this one right here. Sorry if my cursor is gonna jump from the overall big screen to the WoW screen on the bottom lower corner. But you see this board right here where it kind of intersects part way? That's what this one is. So from there, we back up. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 behind the chair, 9, 10, 11, 12 of them to the wall. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Whoops, our place is a little bit longer than I thought it would be. You know what? I'm gonna do something. This is 2'4", right? Let's see what happens when this happens. 2 inches, so it's a 2'6" board. Come on. 2'6". Let's see what happens with that. We don't have that little bit of change left over. It could be the slope of our walls though. Let's see what happens though if we continue. Nah, that's too wide. Alright, let's do that again real quick. I should have grouped them. Let's actually make these a component because then the rest of them will change. Come on, I clicked that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Copying them over here. Alright, and now we need 12, right? That's what we counted. Let's do it one more time. This is tough. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 is this one. 11, 12, and then that one. Yep, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll do it 3 times. 1, 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? Wait, or did I not do math right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oops, we did that too many times. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yep. Our room looks to be a little bit more squished than we thought it was. Then this goes another 1'6" out. So then we can draw. Wait, hold on 1 second. No. That's how it is. And we've got about the half and the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boards before our table starts. Excuse me. Just do that for now. I'm gonna believe that wall is straight up and down. And then I believe we decided that the width of this is pretty similar to the edge of that. So I would say, even though this looks a little... Oh, Lyrian has gone offline. Was he playing World of Warcraft? I don't think so. From here to here it looks skinnier, but I believe all the way to here is about the same. So, knowing that this is 10 feet, I'm gonna go ahead and just grab this same one and just pull it to about there. Interesting. Okay. So I'm gonna take our plan again, and I'm gonna not only squish it this way, I'm gonna squish it this way. I know it's gonna mess up our walls up here, but that's quite alright. I would do it proportionately like that, but it's a little bit easier doing it this way at the moment. Oh, that was ice falling in our freezer. Scared me for a second. That looks about right, right? I think we can work with that. Okay, so I'm guessing this might be... This whole thing is a guessing game. I apologize, but it's fun trying. It's almost like a big puzzle, you know? You gotta figure it out. Might be like a 6-foot table. 6 foot wide by 3 foot deep. Something like that. We'll give it a whirl. I might make this piece of furniture first, and then if it feels right in this space, we'll be able to use it to figure out this space, and so on and so forth. So, nothing else it'll stick to, right? Perfect. Okay, let's see. Everything is so oversized in this world. 6 feet long by 3 feet wide. We might do a 4 by 8. Yeah, let's do that. Does it look twice as long as it is wide? Maybe not. Luke's home. Okay, so let's try. Is it as tall as this in here? I wish I, oh wait, here. Let's do this. Ready? /sleep. Okay, if I were to stretch out my legs, do you think that table would be just as long as me? Do you think it's a 7-foot table? I think so. It might be a little bit shorter, honestly, but let's do 7 feet by, I don't know, 4-foot table. Or at least can try it. 7 feet by 4 feet. Oops. I'm in the game. 7 feet by 4 feet. Don't mind the drawing underneath. We're figuring it all out. So if that's the case, can I fit 2 comfortably in with all the props? You know what? I might do something a little bit wider. Maybe add on 1 more foot. Make it a little bit more square of a table. I actually kind of think it looks better this way. They're a little wonky, and we can go in and remake these tables so they look that way. We'll add on 6 inches. That looks about right. They're very short. Come up to my knees. Again, I'll remake these tables next, like another time, or we can do it off to the side here. I'm just using the shape to kind of figure out how big this space needs to be, you know? Okay, so width-wise, maybe a 6-inch thick table? No, that looks a little too much. We'll do a 4-inch thick table. And it comes up to about my knees. About right there, so is it a little higher than that? We'll say it's 2 feet off the ground. Whoops. That even looks a little high. Actually, it looks about the right height, but it actually might be a 6-inch thick table. Let's go ahead and add our 2 inches to that. And then again, we'll make it wonky later, but for right now, we're gonna group that. Let's add some legs onto this table. So I'm gonna go down in cat form so I can get a little bit lower. Maybe not. Offset a little bit, a little funky square. We'll just do something as a placeholder. So offset about maybe yay big on the bottom. Sure. Something like that. We're going to use the blue axis to put it back down on the ground. Gonna make it come up to the table. That still feels a little tall. we're gonna drop it down by maybe 3 inches. So it's a 1'9" off the floor. Oops. Oh, come on. Find my corner. Yeah, well, we know that this just needs to go down 3 inches. What? What height is it at? I don't know why it's not finding my corner. So if you need to see geometry beyond what you're able to see, you can always hit the K button and it'll allow you to snap to things that it's covering for some reason. Oh, it's 2'1"? When did it get so high? That's weird. Okay. Let's drop that 1 inch and bring this top down 1 inch. I mean, that starts to feel better, right? It's still hitting just below my knees. It looks pretty good. So now we're gonna take the top of this. What we can do is we can hide this guy real quick. We're still viewing hidden geometry, so let's turn that off. And then I'm just gonna eyeball scale this. You can grab a surface and kind of mess with it. So it tapers inwards a little bit this way. Kind of like that, right? And then let's make this a component because it's gonna be the table leg. View hidden geometry. Let's unhide this guy. That looks about right, right? Again, I'll taper the bottom and kind of remake the top of the table just as wonky as the legs. Let's figure out kind of our rough placement of this leg. So it is about 11 inches from that side and 9 inches from that side. So let's actually put it 11 inches, or we'll do in the middle, 10 inches square from the end is where we'll put our leg. And that way, we'll know where to put it on the other side of the table. We might have to do more 9. Yeah, actually, let's do that. We're gonna move it over 1 inch, and we're gonna move it up 1 inch, just so we can fit a chair in between. Come on, camera. And I don't even know if those legs are square. It's a little hard to tell. You know what? The chair doesn't even fit in between. It sits in front of it. It still looks good. Okay, so we're gonna copy it to this side. We're gonna flip along. Yep, the red. We're going to do this and then drag it in 9 inches. And it should be the same on either side. Let's see. If I scooch this one this way, does that make it 9? Oh no, just kidding. This is 9 inches from the side. There we go. I'm gonna grab these guys, reflect them over the green axis, and then drag this point to the corner and then offset it from there 9 inches. And it looks like we've got a table. So let's go ahead and look at our character sitting next to it and if this is about overall the right size. And I believe it's about there, right? So I click and drag her to the side. There's enough room for a chair in between before the next one. So I think that's a pretty good guess. So I'm gonna grab the 4 legs and the top and make this another component within itself and and call it table. Excuse me. Alrighty. So, since there are two tables next to each other, we're just going to use the control key to copy and paste them side by side. Since we know potentially the overall depth of this place, I'll go ahead and just draw a line for reference. It should be the same as this, but then I'm going to click the center of the two tables and match them up to the center of that. And let's compare it to this. I think that looks pretty good. What we can do with this wall is we can use this thing again, where we'll take a screenshot. Since we know the height of the ceiling for the most part, we'll be able to kind of place this in and see if it works. So on this wall, I'm going to go ahead and draw a line vertically where we think that this would end up being. Let's get our snipping tool up again. Hit new. To see where the floor ends, think about right there. Because then it'll help us guess how wide this column is too. So file, save as, we'll just say dining wall 1, because we might have other walls after. Just do JPEG. I'm not gonna bring it in and mess with it in Photoshop. This is just gonna be purely a visualization tool. So file, import. Oh, remember we have our ceiling. I'm gonna do this. About 2 inches or 2 feet of it is where the other beams start. Okay, so let's do file, import. Click on that one, and click, and drag. Okay, so it seems like we can move this over a little bit, just purely based on how that was warping a little bit. This one's tough. It's not lining up as nicely as we would want it to. But honestly, I mean, look how big those chairs are. I think because of our perspective, it's a little weird. So we're gonna right-click position. We're going to, oops. We're gonna scale it down a little bit. I know the height's gonna seem off, but I think the rest is gonna seem fairly on. Let's see what that looks like. I mean, it's weird. I don't know how this one's working out, but I let's just keep moving on. Okay, so we have this column here in the corner. If we're using our 2'4" rule, it's just, is it wonky too? It's not even straight. Nothing is straight in the world of Warcraft. And it's tilted inward. Tilted inward and tilted outward, but tilts back. Okay. Or it might be straight, but the floor pattern's not? I don't know. We'll see. So if we had to take a guess, let's see. Does it look square? It looks pretty square to me, right? So if it's square, maybe 4 foot by 4 foot. Let's try that. Oh, am I in the game? I am in the game. Looks pretty good. We'll tilt it and everything once we get it in the game. Or look at it in the game. And it goes up to the first beam, and that's how it intersects. And this beam is actually much higher than these beams hanging down in here. So you know what? That's why it is supposed to be taller. Shoot. I don't know. Whatever. We're gonna roll with the punches. So I'm gonna grab this edge and I'm going to tilt it inwards. Just a smidge. Maybe a total of, let's see what a 1 foot does. Is that a little drastic? That's a little drastic. About 4 inches. Not too much. Do 2 more, do a 6-inch. I'm inside of a wall. There we go. Oh my gosh, stay inside! That looks pretty good. And you know what? This seems like such a minor detail of how that tilts out. I don't think it's really worth it to mess with the geometry of the base. So we are going to make that its own group. And continue on. I'm going to squish this again a little this way. I'll let that be. Okay. So what's nice is since we've kind of defined the floor of how wide these are this way. Is that person sleeping? Oh my gosh. That is you! Look at Luke! He snuck in! He's sleeping! Sleeping while I'm building him this beautiful inn for ours to have. Oh my gosh, you're a dork. Let's have a dance party while I do some other things. Okay, bye. Fine, don't dance with me. Have fun. Oh, he's funny. That was a pleasant surprise. We were visited by a guest. Okay. Oh, he went offline. Oh my gosh. He just had to have a cameo. Anyways. So let's figure out our steps here. So it aligns with, you know what, I'm gonna take these boards. And I'm gonna make them go to halfway in this room, and then I'm going to delete this one. Gosh dang it, I'm gonna group these. So I don't have to click on them every time like this. A group. And then I'm gonna duplicate it right over here. I know this isn't what the floor pattern looks like, but we're just using it as a scale reference right now. So, if we're looking at our steps are not over here. Our floor plan got very squished when we were moving things around. So, let's look at our model here real quick. Also, let's mess with this wall real quick. It looks like this goes back at least a foot, drops down, and then it sticks out 6 inches. There we go. Something like that. So if we're looking at, whoops, the edge of this, so our board, our staircase pretty much starts in, what, not halfway, maybe 4 inches into this board? 6 inches? We'll say 6 inches in. I shouldn't be making this in that group. Let's exit out of that. Get me out of that group. Okay. Alright, so 6 inches. We're just gonna draw a line here for right now. And then it's 1 whole board, 2 whole board, 3 whole board before the next one. So 1, 2, and 3 before going there. So that is approximately our staircase. Right there. And it's about that wide, which puts us at 7'6". Good to know. Good to know. Okay. I'm curious. I'm gonna skip ahead and just take these and put them over here. Then I'm gonna take one of them, copy it, and turn it. And bring it just to the right side. So, okay, our staircase, I think our staircase is a line, right? And this is to the inside of the stair. It looks like it's not quite a full board, and if our boards are 2'4", I imagine maybe that is 1'6" or something. Let's see what that looks like. So it's not a full board. It's about there. Maybe a 1'9". You can tell I like kind of finished measurements. 1'7" feels weird. Not full, you know, even. 1'9". Typically how things are built. Let's see, and if that's 1'9", it looks to be about. Oh, well that's 2 steps, right? So are we gonna use typical rise and run? That would have to be 14 inches tall. I don't think these steps are 7 inches high. Oh, never mind. Okay, how do I want to handle this? I think I'm going to take everything that I've done so far, and we're going to have to raise it. If this is 7 and 7 and 7, so it's 28, right? Math! Or 21, sorry. Calculator, 7 times 1, 2, 3 is 21. So let's raise this. blue 21 inches. And then just for the sake of having a floor, I'm gonna explode. I'm gonna make this one a group first. And then I'm gonna explode both of these. And explode them again. And now I'm going to create a floor for this space. And I don't really care that I'm going under the walls. It doesn't really matter. This is gonna be a pain, isn't it? I want to give this floor thickness, but I wanted to push and pull it, but I guess I can just draw it, just because I don't want to have to push and pull every single one of those. So what did we do on the blue axis? 21 inches. We're just gonna go around and draw thickness to this floor. This one connecting. Green. Oh, because it's not on the right one. That is why. Get out of here. We'll extend our wall height down to include the depth of the floor, because remember how we pointed it out front that the house is up a couple steps? Well, that is why. Let's reverse these faces, make it a group. Kind of annoying. This is really, because of the terrain it's on, it is 2 steps up. We're inside. We're sitting at, we go down lower than it is outside. Annoying. It's almost only 1 step too. But we already have this hidden there, so really outside it's only 7 inches. Really oh, you know what? This is just funky because of the terrain it's on. The ground kind of cuts in and out of it. It's like 7 inches. And another like 2 inches. Why are there so many lines on the bottom of this? Okay. I have to think here for a couple seconds. How certain objects relate to other objects. stupid picture. I keep cutting through it. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and... I mean, this has to be taller because, okay, so when we go inside, we see the wall to a certain point here, but when we step down, it is lower, but there's additional wall, you know? So we're just gonna make the outside wall just as tall as it needs to be, and then we can mess with the terrain when it comes to needing to mess with the outside of the house. And I'm fine with how this went square here because actually it's gonna go square probably up here. Oops, my coffee's in there. Hey, hun. Luke? Oh, could you heat up my coffee again and bring it to me? Pretty, please. Oh, goodness. I get to go. You have to open it and close it again, yeah? I get to go to work and pretty much do this for what I do at work all day tomorrow. But I don't really mind. I enjoy this, obviously, so. Alright. Let's try to finish out at least this front room and get it down to the step, and then next time we can figure out the funky staircase, the kitchen, and the back room. Excuse me. Okay, so let's go back to editing this staircase. You can see from the side that it has this angle to it. So we're going to make this just as thick as this. Obviously it is not that deep. It should only be, so if it is 11 and 11, right, ready? Thank you. So let me go over to the WoW thing again. We have 11, 11, and actually it's just stick out an 11 again. So we got 33 inches. That's only how deep? Why does it look so much more? What? Okay, we're gonna make each step a foot. Add that extra inch on it. So this really looks much longer. Yeah, I don't like that. We'll see. We'll see. Okay. So we thought this was maybe 9 inches? Question mark? Something like that. Again, that looks way too short and stumpy for ours. It looks at least to be another foot out. That's 9 inches. That looks better. I don't know what the depth of these stairs are gonna be then. How wide did we have this? 1'9". Let's shrink it in 3 inches. What is this from? Oh, that was just a placeholder for how wide the staircase was. I'm gonna make this a component. Stair. Ooh, all caps. Stair. Side. Oh, we didn't bring down these pieces of furniture. We brought them up with the rest of them, so these need to go down. So this would really be hugging in on the left side of that one and back here because the stairs align. So 1, 2, and 3, they have to be 7 inches tall because we made it that way. So let's do 7'6". Come on. 7'6", comma 1 foot. Let's see what this does. So I'm gonna bring that up. We're gonna drop it down 7 inches. See, the steps do look much deeper than that. This feels fine, but what if we did an additional 3 inches? I mean, that looks better. Let's make that a group. Copy it out. Edit it. Drop it down another 7 inches. There. That looks pretty good, right? Fairly accurate. So I'm going to group these. Actually, let's make it a component and just call it stairs. And then we're gonna copy that. We flip along the green. Bring that back here to the other side. And this table kind of aligns with the side of it. If anything, it might have like an inch of wiggle room. Oops, I'm in a wall again. It's coming together. Okay, so we're gonna have to really use the same table arrangement to find the width of this room, this lower portion. We'll come back and we'll make this furniture piece another time. We'll be able to copy and paste it and put it over here. You know what? I guess let's do the railing while we're up here, right? I think I'm going to make everything straight. And then I'm going to come back and we can make everything wonky. Because it's a little bit easier to make objects straight and then come back and grab this end and slightly make it higher and bigger. And then you get your wonky piece, but initially doing that, it's a little bit harder just because you have to just connect the dots rather than making shapes and altering them after. So, in order to find the width of one of these guys, it'll be nice to kind of use what we have going on down at the bottom. You know what's funny? The whole staircase is leaning to the right. So just like the table legs, we will make these guys a little wonky to start off with. I'm talking more about this handrail. Yeah. Okay. So since this is on a slant, these guys will have to be... You know, it's funny. I bet you they just have intersecting geometry. I don't know if they even cut it there. We're gonna build it flat first, and then we can cut it to fit. So what we're gonna do is just build it in front of it. Okay, actually, we need to figure out how tall this railing is, right? Let's turn our girl this way. Put her in front of this railing. We'll figure out the width based on here, but we're gonna figure out the overall shape and height over there. So let's go ahead and put our WoW character about right here. Turn the camera around. So comes up to my lower hips. Okay. So if we are going to create this shape, width-wise, we're looking at a couple inches offset from either side. This guy, so this is 1'6", maybe it's 1 foot. We'll roll with that. 1 foot. Is it square? It looks like it's square. So 1 foot by 1 foot square. Oops. And if that's 1 foot, this might be 6 inches. Because it looks like it tapers to that. We'll try that at the moment. So we're gonna bring this up to just below our hips, which is where, how tall that is. So let's see in here. It's approximately 3'7". We'll do 3'9". And then we're going to lower this 6 inches because we're going to have the thickness of the railing there. And now we're going to taper this. Lower my camera. This one's leaning that way. It looks like it favors one corner. Yeah, so I'm just going to, so like that one in particular is kind of doing something like that. Something like that. It does look a little fatter and wider. So maybe it's not 1 foot. Let me get out of my cat form. Just make this a little bit wider. Then we're gonna squish it. How big did that approximately get? I hate doing that though. Okay, you know what? Boop. We're gonna do 1'3", comma 1'3". Might change it down there, but it looks better up here. So we did 3'9". We're gonna go down 6 inches. Do something like that. Does that look too big? A little more drastic. Oh, we're gonna roll with it for now. So This one is tilted that way. Oops. We'll do make component. We can call it railing leg. We're gonna copy it to the corner here. And we're gonna just rotate it. Let's see here. Pretty much 180 because this time, as you can see it here, it's angling back. Okay. This one looks pretty straight up and down, but it looks like it might be leaning backwards, so it's one of these. So I'm gonna copy this one over here. I'm gonna bring it to the start of the second stair. And actually, it's a little bit closer than that. And I'm going to bring this portion, oops, to the where it intersects. And then put it in the center of this. And yeah, this is in the center, I believe, already. Oh, about a 16th inch off. It is leaning backwards, not sideways. So 90-degree turn for this guy. Come on, I want to grab that. There we go. And make sure it's still in the center. Yes. The step actually looks to be a little bit wider. Haven't saved this in a while. Saving? What time is it? Okay. Got some more time. I'm really making these wonky at the moment. Just not really caring about scale or actually like accurate measurements. I don't know what these ended up being, but I'm just really looking at the shapes at the moment. But you know what? I didn't just make it laneway, did I? I shrunk it. Ah! It's not tilting back on two sides. All of these are really only tilting back. No. It's straight on one side and tilted back on the other three. Okay. What do these approximately become? We're gonna figure this out. 1 foot 1. One foot 1, comma, 1 foot 1. Oh, this is different. Oh, hey, beware, the daughter of the sea. Beware. I heard him cry. I can come lay as a human model if you want, since their lay is relatively straight. Yeah, oh, when they lay down? That's funny. Yeah, I was trying to lay down earlier. Oh, I'm just trying to get this shape right. Excuse me. I might need you to see how many body lengths you are across this room. You know, from there to there, if you want. You can come mess around and tell me what your findings are, if you like. You can be featured. Your WoW character can be featured in this stream. I'm gonna add this to the playlist. I like.
When she did flee across the ocean deep, the admiral followed west. What else but sail to save a daughter's life and pray she stood her breath.
Alright.
But there he found upon those distant shores enemies on the rise. But when he faced those savage foes, his daughter stood aside. And buried deep beneath the waves, betrayed by family, to his nation with his last breath cried, beware the daughter of the sea.
What am I doing? Make component. Stair or railing. Like. Yes. Because I deleted the other one. I said goodbye. Okay, so this needs to turn 90 degrees the other direction. There. See, now it's tilting inwards. Okay. So this one lines up with the center of that, but we've got it about...
I heard
over here.
across a moonlit sea, the old voice warning me, beware, beware, the daughter of the sea, beware, beware
Of me.
of me.
Evil! Okay. Now this one goes center over here. And this one is leaning backwards. What? Okay, we're gonna play Doom another time. We're gonna continue with tavern music. If you got a good tavern song too, let me know and I'll put it on. I just have Spotify up and rolling. Okay, so this needs to go like this. See? Leaning backwards. Perfect. And now now this one is leaning the other way, so this one needs to turn. By 180. It needs to go straight down to there. Does that look like where it's about? Oops. On the steps. It actually looks pretty good. Because it seems farther away than that one, but let's go ahead and just copy this last one. Bring it down. It's definitely a little closer to the edge than that. We'll leave it like that. Alright, so the last step leans to the right. So, yay! Lean into the right. Perfect! So because we made this a component, but these are going to be different because they're going to be cut in different ways, I'm going to right click and say make oops, wrong button. Right click, make unique, right click, make unique. So when I actually go to copy and paste these on the other side, if I still edit this first one, it's going to edit its partner over here. But if I wouldn't do that right now, watch, I'll just show you. If I draw a line to cut this one in half, it's going to do that on, oh my god, did I not make it a component? I thought I called it something, didn't I? Yeah, edit component. It's really weird. It should show up on the rest. Okay, let's see here. If I click that side, oh, I already made it unique. I'm a dummy. Let's do it to this one. Okay, so you see this one? If I draw a line on the side of it, because it's the same as this one over here. See, it's behind me, but you see it here. We turned it, so the sides aren't lining up, but if I edit this one, it's gonna edit that one. But since these are unique, we don't want, when I cut off the bottom, we don't want the flat ones to have their bottoms cut off. Nobody should have their bottoms cut off. That's horrible. Oh well, we're doing it to this step anyways. I'm gonna put myself inside that wall so I can grab that bottom piece and drag it over here. So now, on this piece, we've successfully cut it. Oh no, we didn't. Just kidding. Oh shoot! We made it wonky! Okay. I know a way to do this, it's just weird. Okay. So that's the line that we need to cut, right? At least it's on the flat side of our object. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this, see if we, oh no wait, we can push it pretty much all the way through, but you see how this wall's angled? It doesn't like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this face, we're going to copy it, move it over here, and then as a separate piece, we're almost going to chop this one by taking this piece and saying, hey, see where it's intersecting? Yeah, I want to create faces there. So now I'm going to triple click everything, right click, intersect with selection. And now what I can do is I can delete where it cut through because it created a face in between. Oh my gosh, is that you? Are you laying down in there? That is you! You're too funny. Everybody say hi, Jeff. So I'm gonna delete this bottom right here. And there we go. Now we've got our shape cut in funky ways. Ta-da! Save. Hi! Maybe we can play together later when I get back from my hair appointment and whatnot. But if you would like to, feel free to see how many male bodies are from the edge of the staircase. Like if you, let's do this, lay. This is a bad example, but from this point to this point. Just so I know how wide this room is. And approximately in World of Warcraft, let's see here, I'll save this. The guy in my SketchUp model was 5'6", but how tall is a male man in World of Warcraft? No, not a Tauren. A male man. Oh my god. Do you see a male human? That's a lie. Are you as tall as me? Here, I'll mark you with like my foot or something, so you know where your head is. So my right foot was where your head was. That piece was about 4 of you? Okay, cool. Okay. That was pretty good. So 1, 2, I'm gonna move now. Have to go. Try to get back to my heel. I'm gonna write this down. Here's a piece of paper. Okay, perfect. So what do you think? About 1, 2, 3.5 of you? 3.5 human man lengths is between the stairs. And you said that railing was about 4 of you. 4 times man equals railing. So, okay, it says humans average 6 feet in height. Males are on average 7 feet tall. But the thing is, I'm supposedly 7 feet tall. And I'm definitely a whole head taller than you. And that's what I've been basing my stuff on. So I'm gonna say you're 6 feet. Maybe... Well, here. Oh, I don't know. Let me, see, from my head to my shoulder piece, and here is about, right, head to shoulder piece. It's about 10 inches. So 10 inches shy of 7 feet. So 6 foot 2, right? Is what your height is about. It says 6 feet? Okay. Look at you. Thanks so much for your help. Feel free to... I'm trying to think of other things I have measurement wise. Okay, so if we have 6 foot 2, and then we're gonna duplicate that about 1, 2, 3, and then we'll grab it at its half point and a half. Ooh, we were pretty close. So let's go ahead and move this. We're 7 inches off, 7 and 15/16. Beautiful. Okay, so those stairs will remain in place. I guess we're gonna have this width based off of where our table is. Anything else that I could use your straight male body for? Feel free to do the same thing up here if you want, kind of figuring out where this piece of artwork is, this stone wall, like how deep that stone wall is, you So from about here to here, and then if you really want to, then from the top of the stairs to that wall. But I'll just keep building. Feel free to measure whatever you please. Thanks for your help. I do have a hair appointment, I think, at 4:30, so I will have to be getting off here in about 10 to 15 minutes. So I think I'm going to try to focus on finishing this railing on this side. And then we'll have to pick up another day. So let's... Everybody say thanks, Jeff. Yay. Oh yay, I'm glad you're able to post links in the chat, because my brother was trying to do that the other day and my Twitch at first was not letting him, and then my Moo bot shushed him for like 10 seconds and he got in trouble, so whoops. Oops, when I moved that, it moved down. Oh, this one's on the angle, so I can't do that side. Which side's the straight side? This side is straight up and down. The chat in WoW. Is it Weiler or Wheeler? Lies down, lies down, lies down. Oh, gosh dang it. Which side is the straight side? Oh well. This time we're gonna have to do something different, just because the angles are on the side that it's angled. So let's bring this up. The only thing we have to do really is click this to that one, and it should create a face, and then I just delete this corner. Yep, see? Easy as that. Cool. So now we're gonna take, well here, let's figure out the rest of these guys compared to the beams on the floor. So this one is the half of that, a full one, and then the next one is pretty much dead center in. So half of that, a full one, dead center in that one, and this one is, which way is it leaning? From Recess. TJ Wheeler? I don't know. I'm gonna have to look that one up. From Recess. Is that, then that's an old show, right? Alright, around 3.25-ish of me on the painting wall to the doorway. Okay, so that stone wall. Thank you. So the stone wall is about 3.25 times 6'2". Perfect. Thank you so much. So now which way does this one angle? Looks like it might be tilting to the left. Yes. So we're just gonna flip this one 180. Perfect. Next one, it's either gonna be tilting forward or backwards. It's hard to see. We're gonna say backwards and forwards are the last two. Okay, so if this one's dead center, the other one's favoring the left of this one. I don't know if they're evenly spaced out. I mean, we can see this one is about 3'8.5", 3'10.5". Ooh, I bet you if I just keep doing 3 foot, maybe 9, it might be it. 3 foot, oops, 3'9". So I'm gonna grab this one and this one. We're gonna move them over to match the edge of that. Grab that one to the edge of that. And then do another 3'9". Put that one, oops. What did we say this one's going to be leaning back? Leaning back, and then the next one is going to be leaning forward. So we're going to grab that and that. And put it about right there, which looks about right over there. We just have to erase these lines and flip this guy around. Voila! Got one side done. Well, besides the top piece. So what we're going to do is we're going to take at least these. We're going to duplicate them. We're going to flip them along red. Center it here, and then finish out the side with the rest of them. I think I'm just going to take these first two and put them down here instead of really trying to figure out. Let's see here, 3'9", which way they're leaning. Yep, and this last one favors the wall, so that looks about right. Oh my gosh, going from WoW back to this, I'm holding down different buttons. To orbit, to pan, I go to hold 2 fingers to walk in a certain direction, and I can't, obviously. Alright, let's get this railing done. So that one is what? 1 3/4 of you think? To the edge of that wall? I see you laying down there. Oh, I guess I can help with putting my right foot where your face is if need be. And then from the stairs to the stone wall, it's about 1.75, we'll see. I think that was about good. A little farther forward, yeah. Yeah, almost all of you, maybe 1.8. We'll say 1.8. Approximately almost 2 of you are just missing your head. It's from the stairs to the stone wall. 415? It's right across the street. I know. Yeah. So that's why I'm gonna just do this railing real quick and then I've got to get off. 6'2". Perfect. Thank you so much, Jeff. That actually is quite the help. The nice thing is, isn't this the starting zone for humans anyways? So if I need to, I can always make a human character if I have to go on this journey alone. Alright, let's quickly do this railing because I got to go here soon. What am I looking at? Looking at this. Okay. So it looks to be pretty much the same width as the bottom, maybe a hair skinnier, because I think down here we had it being 9 inches, and I think we were planning on it being, you know what, it might be just that thick of a rail. Maybe we'll roll with 8 inches. It looks ever so slightly smaller. Okay, so to deal with these on the side, oh my gosh, we hit that pretty well. Okay, and it overhangs. Oh, any more than the bottom or the same? Yeah, a little bit more. So we're gonna follow this angle. Come on, find that angle. We're just gonna draw a line, but then we're gonna break it probably about right here. I know this isn't accurate, but we're just getting a start. So what did we say? We're gonna try 8 inches. See, that looks really tall to me. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll try it first. Let's delete the rest of these. Bring it out to the sides. See, I know the top is wider than the bottom, but it does intersect that pretty much the same, and I wouldn't make it any... It might be a little skinnier. Not as wide as the bottom, so we'll pull it in maybe 1 inch on either side. So we still want it to be centered. So we're gonna have to make these taller or angle our stair more so. Which I think is we're gonna need to angle our stair more because this thing really should follow the pitch on this. So let's go ahead and make that match. Oh, it's crooked. How the heck did it get crooked? This is silly. Let's try this again. It's crooked because I drew it on something crooked. But if we have to make it the same slope of this, we might as well just do this. And then do 8 inches. Do 8 inches. Extend it out at least. Yeah, that looks about good. Just a couple inches. Let's see if that's 1'9", right? 1'6". Let's do 1 foot, maybe 3.5 inches on either side. See what that looks like. Need to be wider. Yeah. 0.5, 0.5, ever so slightly shorter than the sides. But whatever it is, we just need to make sure it lines up with this. Let's triple click, make that a group. Nope, a group. And then we'll drop this down to reach the top of that. So then we just need to make these guys a little taller. We'll have to, not today, but another time, we're gonna cut off those bottoms, or like how we cut off the bottoms, we're gonna cut off the top. Where's my center thing? Come on, I just had it. Oh, I'm an idiot. I have to grab the whole thing. Okay, we'll do 1.07 on both of them. 1.07. Oh, you know what? It's messing up the bottom too. So there's a lovely gap there now. Okay, we're at least going to just make them tall enough so it spans both, and then we're just going to recut them on both top and bottom. There. So I'll fix those another time. Okay. So it looks like honestly, oof, I'm gonna have to go here in a second actually. That really hits where this ends, so we really needed this to not break up here, but break further out, like right here is where this needed to happen. Yes, 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 yes. So whatever this height is, 1 1/16. We're gonna grab this piece, and we're just going to copy it straight up and do that same for up here. We're going to cut off the bottom and add on to the top. And by cutting off the bottom, yes, we're going to have to mess with those legs again. But unfortunately, that will have to be done at another time. But how much this is hanging over on this side is probably a good, oops. If this does this, and we do this, how much should it hang over on this side? And we can obviously move our legs in as well. Maybe we'll just do 1 inch, and then we're gonna grab all of these. No, not me. Okay, I've got to go. And we're going to grab the center and center them on this guy that looks a little close to the edge. So we're going to bring him a little bit closer. Just barely, and then just make this wider. by 1 more inch. And we're gonna have to do that to this side as well. And we just at least make sure that these, oh, why the heck do I have that selected? Alright. And then we're gonna take this guy that we just made and do the same exact thing where we flip it along. Nope, flip it along the red. Grab the center of it. Center it on this guy. And then extend it to the wall. Not outside, just to the wall. Alright. Well, obviously we have to make it a little wonky. I don't know. These are definitely one shape, even though they look like two. It's just the texture. But I feel like we did a pretty good job at tackling the front of this room, literally from scratch. You know, having nothing else besides just what we're deeming as 7 foot, and let's go from there, you know. Thanks to Jeff's help, we got some other measurements. Look at him dancing over there. We got some other measurements to help us next time we hop back in here, but I think it's looking pretty good. We're gonna have our own WoW tavern here as soon as we know it, but I have to run over to my hair appointment across the street literally in 2 minutes is when it starts. So anyways, thank you guys so much. It's been great. It's my first art stream. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll definitely get into more 3D modeling. We'll make props. Especially when we get into textures, we're going to bring this thing to life. But go ahead and join my Discord if you would like to get notified about when I stream. I'll also post progress pics on there, and maybe we'll end up taking this video and putting it on YouTube in case anybody wants to follow along. But anyways, love you all. Thank you so much, and I'll catch you later. See ya, everybody.